A father who battered his 6-year-old daughter to death after what was described as a volcanic loss of temper has been jailed for a minimum of 23 years. The Old Bailey heard that Ben Butler had tried to cover up what he'd done, and when he and his partner Jenny Gray called for an ambulance, Ellie had already been dead for 2 hours. 11 months earlier, they'd won a high-profile court case to win their daughter back.
Well, a serious case review has just been published. It says that the decision by a family court effectively prevented social work agencies from having any further involvement, handing all the powers to the parents. Our correspondent Mark Ashdown is at the Old Bailey for us now. Mark.
Yes, Simon. Well, Ben Butler sobbed uncontrollably as Mr Justice Wilkie read out his sentencing remarks, and they are graphic. He said, "You murdered Ellie in a brutal assault prompted by your evil temper. You hit her so hard you inflicted catastrophic skull and brain injuries from which she very quickly died. I am satisfied," the judge said, "having observed you throughout this 2-month trial. You are self-absorbed, ill-tempered, violent, a domineering man who, I am satisfied, regarded your children and your partner as trophies, having no role other than to fit him with your infantile and sentimentalised fantasy of family life, with you as the patriarch whose every whim was to be responded to appropriately." Now, referring to the day Ellie died, he said, "You attacked her with lethal violence. Then your default position of selfish callousness came into play. You staged an alternative version of what happened. You arranged the scene of her death to suggest a fall from a chair. It was a bravura performance over 2 hours. All of this during which you left your dead daughter lying unattended on her bedroom floor like a carefully placed prop in a stage scene." Now, this has been an 8-week trial with some very distressing evidence, and I must warn, some viewers may find some aspects of Alison Holt's report disturbing.
This is the family life Ben Butler fought for.
Go on, Ellie.
And the life he destroyed in a fit of rage. 6-year-old Ellie was living with a domineering, angry man with a short fuse. The Old Bailey jury was played an accidentally recorded phone call in which Butler is heard raging as his daughter listens.
"See, I'm good, don't ask me to do something which you ain't done and then sort it out, now off."
The film also shows she has a black eye, which Butler claimed was caused by a fall. Weeks later, in October 2013, he killed Ellie, hitting her over the head with the leg of a child's table. Her mother, Jenny Gray, worked opposite the Old Bailey, yards from the court where she's now admitted perverting the course of justice. CCTV catches her rushing home to Sutton. The couple tried to cover things up before sending another child to find Ellie's body. Then they called 999.
"My daughter is not breathing properly."
Jenny Gray is shouting with Ben Butler in the background.
She's laying there. She's not responding. I'm breathing, but she's I don't even know. She's like,
Okay, darling, I'm helping you now. What?
It's a 15-minute call in which Jenny Gray is also instructed in how to resuscitate Ellie.
30 times you need to pump the chest.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Detectives say Ellie had been dead for some time when the call was staged.
When you realise that at the time the ambulance was called, it's give or take 2 hours after she first knew, that is a performance that must have been very difficult.
The couple had a history. In 2007, Ben Butler was convicted of shaking 6-week-old Ellie. She was taken into care. They fought to clear his name, and 11 months before she died, Ellie returned home. The couple even went on television to talk about the injustice they'd suffered.
It took to pretty much last month to clear my name completely.
Yeah.
And
Jenny, had you ever any doubts about Ben?
None whatsoever.
It was Mrs. Justice Hogg, who retired in March, who made decisions in Ellie's case. She exonerated Ben Butler, saying it was her joy to return Ellie to her parents.
As well as this unusually strong judgment, the court ordered that all files on the family held by police, health, schools and social workers should clearly say that Ben Butler had been exonerated, and the couple or their solicitor could serve that order on any professional they needed to.
Ellie spent just a short time here at Avenue Primary School. When she was missing days and her parents were defensive, the head teacher found he couldn't involve social workers in the way he would normally.
There was no local authority involvement with Ellie because of the family court judgment from several years before, and therefore all we could do was treat the issue as an attendance issue.
I'm faster, you're losing.
It will be for a serious case review to decide why things went so tragically wrong for a little girl described by her school as gentle and thoughtful.
Yes, and Jenny Gray has also been sentenced. She was implicit in that cover-up. She was admitted perverting the course of justice, but denied a child cruelty over a previous injury Ellie suffered. And she has been sentenced to 42 months or 3.5 years in prison for that.
And Mark, tell us more about the serious case review.
Well, as you heard in Alison's report there, it was crucial, really critical in this case. The pair had suffered a miscarriage of justice in 2007 when Ben Butler was falsely accused of shaking Ellie as a baby. He was sentenced to 18 months, then released. The family of the pair then went on a lengthy legal battle to try and get Ellie and a younger sibling back. And in 2012, that happened. That family court handed the children back to the couple with the judge, Lady Justice Oggs, and it gave her great joy to preside over a happy ending. Of course, 11 months later, Ellie was dead. So this Sutton Safeguarding Children Board ordered a serious case review into that decision. We've only had it in the past 10 or 15 minutes. And so really it was focusing on that decision to remove Sutton Social Services from any involvement with the family and replace them with independent social workers who, we were told, weren't given the full picture about the family life. And the key point really was in exonerating Ben Butler, in giving him a completely clean slate, and the judge's statement, how strong it was, calling him a victim of a miscarriage of justice. In effect, this review found, handed all the power to the parents, all legal power over anyone who questioned anything to do with family life. This and the assessment of services for children to support Ellie and this other sibling to be cared for by the parents were critical factors. Now this review does say it wasn't possible to gain a greater insight because the judiciary didn't provide an independent review of its involvement, so no doubt that will be picked over in the hours to come. But certainly that serious case review ruling that the family courts, their role in handing back Ellie and her sibling to the couple was crucial just 11 months before she died.
OK, Mark, thank you for that. Mark Ashdown at the Old Bailey.